I feel like he owns that whole damn city. You know, I felt like he owned the whole thing. But
Wow.
you go there and it starts to rain a little bit, but people didn't care. They was out there just, I mean, like enjoying the set, like the craziest, wildest jokes that you and I couldn't say.
Right.
Without having to go, but this is a joke, and I'm so sorry, and you know, everything I was playing, I have a trans brother, or I have a
Right, exactly.
gay, my wife's gay, or
Right.
you know, like, my uncle's white. You know what I'm saying? I have an Asian son. Like all this explanation, Dave just goes on stage and just says whatever.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Having that artistic license is a beautiful thing. That's why he's the GOAT to me, because he's endearing, he's very intelligent, and what he's saying is coming from a comedic place, and a lot of it's coming from a true place that he believes, you know, and no one, I don't think people hold offense to it anymore. I think people are like slowly getting back into like, okay, comedy is an outlet. We can at least go to a comedy club and hear.
It's the last place of like freedom of speech. It
Yeah.
should be. I mean, well, it
Right.
shouldn't be. I mean, you should just have freedom of speech. And people will be like, well, you have freedom of speech, but then the repercussions that come with it. And it's like, man, like you can't, especially as a comedian, it's like, man, you can't cancel everybody every time they say some shit you don't like.
Exactly.
It's like, just turn the fucking channel. You
Right.
know, like you don't unfollow them. It's like you don't have to cancel their career. Now, if they did something, feel like if they molesting somebody or that's different. You see what I'm saying? That's completely a whole nother thing.
Right.
But if they're using their words, and you know how many KKK people have said some shit? Guess what? I don't follow any KKK people. Say whatever the fuck you want to say. You know. You know,
I do. I follow some of the Grand Wizards.
Oh, any funny memes that you can share?
Some of the grandest old memes. No, but you're right. You're right, man. Everyone's supposed to be able to just kind of, you know, express themselves. And if comedy is on the chopping block, then man, we're screwed. We are so screwed. This cancel culture is very scary. Like it goes to what we were talking about earlier. You can't be human, you know, like you're a performer, but if you say the wrong thing, like coming up, I have a new show coming out called Woke, and
I'll definitely get into that. Absolutely.
Yeah, man. It's just, but the subject matter is very timely. So I get asked a lot of political questions, and by no means am I a political pundit at all. You know what I mean? My comedy is not based in politics whatsoever. I try to learn as much as I can, but I know as much as the layman, the average person. But I get asked a lot of questions, and people want your opinion and your take on this, and you try to form it from a place of something that you actually know, and then you can get misquoted, or you can get like maybe just flat out got the wrong answer. Maybe your information just wasn't correct, but it doesn't mean you should walk the plank for it.
You mean Harriet? You mean Harriet? It's not true that Harriet Tubman didn't free the slaves? Is that what you're saying? Is this what you're saying? Because I really thought that was accurate. Wait a minute. God damn it, Kanye.
She didn't, man. She didn't.
God damn it.
She freed herself. Everybody else followed. No. She's like, this way. No.
Think about that. What you just said, which is so funny. She freed herself and everybody else followed.
Yeah.
I think she know the way. Fuck that. Let's go.
She turned left.
She like, why these niggas keep following me?
I'm gonna go back. I left my shoes. She go back to your shoes. They follow her again. I gotta go grab my purse.
You know what's so funny about what you just said though too is I was actually going to ask you, because I do feel like now you have been very active on your social media about Breonna Taylor, about Black Lives Matter. What compelled you to be as active? Because there's a lot of African Americans that's celebrities and they choose to stay out of it. They choose not to post anything. So what compelled you to do that and not remain silent during these times?
I'm Black and I'm a human. You know what I'm saying? And I identify with a lot of what we're seeing. You know, status doesn't outweigh who you are. You know what I mean? If you're Black, that leads. I saw a video of Jay Farrow being like thrown on the ground by the police. They had their knee on his neck.
On Jay Farrow?
Jay Farrow, right down the street from where we live. We and Jay live in the same neighborhood. They were right there on Ventura.
When was this?
Man, this was like a couple months ago.
Wow.
Man, I know
I want to get him on here too. And that's crazy. All right, I'm listening.
But he posted about it, and that's one of those things that just lets you know, like, this dude's a very popular comedian and actor. You know, he's on one of the biggest comedic shows that our world has ever seen, in Saturday Night Live. He's one of the faces of it, and you treat him still like he's like obviously he's not a threat. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's still one of those things where it's like anybody can get it.
Now, was he doing an impersonation of a police officer?
That would be funny if he reenacted every character. He just Eddie Murphy'd it.
Right.
Nutty Professor just played. Yo, that would have had me die.
Yeah. I didn't know that happened, but
for me, it's like how it is for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the same way. We walked this path already, so you feel compelled to do it because you got to be a voice for the voiceless. I get a lot of my stuff that I talk about is from fans DMing me information that I didn't know. So I go through, I'll have someone tell me about this or tell me about that, and I won't know about it. And then I'll go and look into it a little bit, and I'm like, damn, that's fucked up. So then I'll post about it. And obviously what a lot of us are doing too is it's the movement now. So we operate because it's in our face. It's everywhere. We can't escape it. So I gotta say something. You know what I'm saying? Like, everyone's posting about it. You see it, post about it, because there is strength in numbers. You know what I'm saying? There is something to be said about something trending, going viral, which will create, lawmakers to make different decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Will create different legislation. And I think social media is very important for that, because younger people look at social media and younger people get more activated in, like, a lot of my followers on New Girl, like, follow me because of New Girl. They're used to me posting about, my cat on the show or weird, goofy stuff, which I enjoy posting from time to time. But this one, I was like, man, if I got these cats looking at me, these kids will dictate the outcome of our world.
Straight up.
Because these fans are all over the world. They will dictate the way things are moving forward. So let them hear it from me too. You know what I mean? Let them hear some of it from me too. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not quitting my day job.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It pays well.
Yeah, exactly. I can't quit my day job. I love it. But, there are people with their feet on the ground as far as political activism goes. All you need to do, I give this advice to celebrity actors or friends that I know. I'm like, the thing you can do is maybe just attach yourself with the cause that you care about. You know what I'm saying? There are people who are doing the groundwork. You can be the bullhorn. You can help be the bullhorn. It's okay to be a foot soldier in these things.
Right.
I don't need to be the guy at the protest with the thing yelling. I'll allow you to tell me what you need from me. Hey, Lamorne, can you post this? We're trying to raise $10,000. Boom, I'll post it. Hey, Lamorne, can you help do this? Boom, I got it. I love to do that because it's a part of the change. It's a part of the movement. You know what I'm saying? And I value that because I'm being taught lessons throughout this whole thing. There's a lot I don't know. There's a lot I've learned more about because of social media about Black history than, you know what I'm saying, that we weren't taught in schools, that we weren't taught with our education.
A lot of people just found out about Juneteenth this year.
I know. A lot of, luckily for me, I still grew up on the South Side of Chicago, so some of that stuff we celebrated and we knew about, Juneteenth being one of them. But I didn't know the details of so many things.
Juneteenth, for anybody that don't know, is the day that the last slaves in Galveston, Texas, were told that they were free. For anyone that don't know.
Mm-hmm. Right, exactly. So, I felt compelled and moved to just get active on social media and not have my page specifically about jokes because I don't operate that way in real life anyway.
I definitely lost 1,000, 2,000 followers when I started posting Black Lives Matter stuff. And it's almost like some of your fans they're like surprised that you're black and you speak on it.
Yeah.
They're
Right.
like, well, wait a minute. It's like, yo, do you,
Yeah.
I know you see my character, but you
Yeah.
have to realize that I am an African-American man
Right.
that
I'm
goes through this.
Exactly. So that was the also I noticed that once I started posting, my followers kind of took a halt. So when you go look at the numbers, you're losing a couple thousand. You're gaining some, but then you're losing a lot.
Yeah.
But it's all good, man. I think Batch said something about, he posted a video like, yo, if you don't like if you don't like the fact that I'm speaking out on injustice, and if you're a brand and you don't, because he makes a lot of his money off of brands, and he's like, if you're a brand and you don't want to work with me, I don't want to work with you.
Straight up.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's not like I'm saying anything wrong. I'm only speaking the truth here. And a lot of people are afraid to look in the mirror, which is understandable. You know what I'm saying? The history of our world is dark. You know what I'm saying? The history of our country was built on the backs of slaves, immigrants. You know what I'm saying? Like built Chinese people, like Hispanic people. It's built on the backs of people who aren't given those inalienable rights. You know what I'm saying? Like we're not given a lot of those freedoms. And so people tend to get a little standoffish because they know it. They know they've had privilege. They know they've been given some of these things.
But you know, it's so funny. Some of them don't realize it, which is the frustrating thing, you know, to people that are woke and do see it. Shout out to your show that's coming soon. But see, I threw that through. But
thank you, man. Caught it.
But that's the frustrating thing is there's some Caucasians that get it. They're like, I understand white privilege. I know I don't have to worry about when a cop pulls up behind me in fear for my life. You know, they'll admit it. They're like, I don't even know what that feel like to be concerned, you know. And then there's other people who are just like, I don't know what they're talking about. And it's like, really? Like, what news are y'all watching? Like,
because they're not, it's that experience for them. It's just always been this way for them. If you all of a sudden told me, you know, some sort of weird fact, I'm 37. That's a lot of conditioning, a lot of training to think a certain way. And all of a sudden I got to switch it up and believe that I was privileged or I was this way, or I'm like, I can't see it, you know? And it's not their fault that they were privileged, and it's not their fault they think this certain way, but it becomes their fault when the information's out there and you're just not seeking it now.
Absolutely.
You know, I have a lot of white friends and all very much so like dope individuals. You know what I'm saying? And all political walks of life, but they all understand they all understand that privilege is real. And that's, you know, something that they've benefited from. Some of them have more than others. Some of them haven't at all. I got a lot of friends who had white friends who had worse upbringings than I did. You know what I'm saying? So it's different for everybody, but still there is that hue, that tint that allows certain people more access to better education, to cleaner food, to, you know, to less
reduce jail time.
Reduce jail time. You know what I'm saying? Like that goes personal in my family life with crimes that I got people locked up for that somebody else might get, you know, X amount of years, and then they got quadruple that.
Straight up.
You know?
Me too.
Yeah. So, and that's something we can all identify with. So that's, again, another reason why I wanted to make sure that I posted and that I started getting real active as much as I could, and without being false about it. Cause I don't want to be one of those dudes that's just speaking up just to say stuff and I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Me too. Yeah. And I make sure to do the same thing. Like, if something happens, I kind of make sure I do my research before I post about it.
Right.
Because I remember one time I was quick to post something, and then I found out that I didn't know all the information behind it. Now I'm feeling stupid.
Right.
You know? But, you know, that actually get me to something Jesse, I went on your I got a new thing that I'm gonna start doing on Urban Legends called IG stalking. Uh, so I went on your IG and I went down and I saw you still had up a picture of Jesse Smullet. That's the one who said that he got beat up and people put a noose around his neck in Chicago. It was like 2:00 in the morning or something in the wintertime. And he said that's what happened. They called him a porch monkey and a jigaboo. I don't know if those are I don't know if those are the exact words, but it was in that. Jesse, now.
Oh man!
Shout out to Jesse. I met Jesse. I tested for Empire to be his younger brother. Yeah. So, anyways, that's when I met Jesse. So he's a very nice dude. When it comes to speaking up too soon, do you believe him because it's still on your Instagram page? I took my shit down immediately.
But look, I put it like this. He hasn't, so that was the homie. You know, okay. So we had spent a little bit of time together. We vacation batch would do these charity trips to Jamaica, and that's how I met him. And it became cool. We became, cool dude. He's a very mellow, chill guy. So when I heard the story, I believed it because a guy with that mild temperament wouldn't dare make something, especially when his career is going so well. Like the guy, to me, was the best part of the show. Mm-hmm. He's so talented. He's charismatic. He's good looking. He had everything going for him. I was like, he can't lose, So why would it never even crossed my mind that would be false. You got Lee Daniels post, hey, you guys got to speak up. This happened. So I was like, my God. I texted him and called him. He didn't pick up. He didn't answer. So I'm like, he's probably going through it right now.
Yeah,
he's probably still taking that news from around his neck.
Them Africans probably had his phone.
Yeah, they had his phone. They took it. They took it. But it's white Africans too. You know what I'm saying?
South Africa.
South Africa. But I'm not sure if this is going to be a hot take or not. But I still believe him.
Okay.
The reason why I didn't take it down is because he hasn't personally called me and told me he lied.
Right. Did he ever call you back? Y'all ever talked after that?
No. I have yet to receive a text message or a response to the, are you okay, bro? I hope all is well.
Do you think he may be dodging you because he don't want to admit to you that he made this shit up for whatever reason?
Listen, I'm going to die on this hill.
Okay.
He's innocent, and we still got to find those perpetrators who did this to him.
We found them. They were black actors. And they were paid to do whatever the hell he asked them to do.
Look, perception is everything, right? If you told me, again, I don't know what's going on in his life and his personal life, what was going on with the show and all this stuff and conspiracies that came out about this. He wanted money. He wanted, all this stuff. I don't follow that. But perception is everything. Chappelle said something on Inside the Actors Studio. He was telling a story about Martin Lawrence. And he was like, this guy works his butt off, does all like had a medical issue or something like that. And then Dave was like, yo, sorry to hear what happened to you. How'd it go? Like, how you feeling? And he was like, man, that's the best sleep I got in my life. You know what I mean? After all this trauma, that's all he could take away from his dad. At least I got some sleep finally. Mm-hmm. Like, he ain't a weak guy. That's a strong guy. And to have a career like Martin Lawrence, you gotta be a strong individual. And he was like, what would make a guy that strong run down the street waving a gun saying they're trying to kill me? What would make somebody like Dave Chappelle, who's on your show, and again, you don't have weak people on your show, what would make Dave Chappelle up and leave and go to Africa? He goes, the worst thing you can do is call somebody crazy. It's dismissive. Maybe the environment that we work in is sick. So when I see something like that with Jesse, our environment is so, what we do, bro, is so sick at times. If you don't know who you are, if you don't establish, that's why you see a lot of child actors going through issues, because they're young and they are dealing with the pressures of grown people, and they're having to navigate this world, dealing with all the BS that comes with being in the business somehow, and the pressures of it. This is a grown person's business, and you got kids that are trying to deal with it and manage with weird parents that are trying to take their money and do all this stuff. And you know what I'm saying? So they got, imagine that's the business we're in. And then they have this struggle coming up. So when you imagine somebody like Jesse, he was a child actor. I'm sure he had a great childhood, but I'm just saying, like, all these things that the pressures of being in Hollywood sometimes can get the best of you. So I'm not saying he's guilty. I'm not saying he's innocent. All I'm saying is that man didn't call me and tell me personally that these two Africans, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't get that call, so I'm not gonna be one of those.
Ain't nobody get that call.
I can't believe that somebody that would. I can't believe it. I refuse. I need to hear from him.
I feel you.
Yeah.
We finna wrap it up. I'm trying to see if there was anything. Well, let's wrap it up on this. Tell me about your new show, Woke, man. That's coming on Hulu.
Woke is a beautiful thing, man. It's based on the life and artwork of cartoonist Keith Knight. You know, he was kind of like me, where we talked about it earlier. How you know about these things politically, but you don't speak on it unless you kind of really know. And he was one of those to the extreme, where he wouldn't really say anything. He knew of the injustices happening, and he had this platform with his comic strips that was syndicated, nationally syndicated, and he had the ability to speak on certain things, but he never did, until one day he had an unfortunate incident with the cops. That happens to the guy, and it kind of forms.